Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation on the Harkness discussion method in language learning. Our group is made up by Liliana Sabogal Garcia, Joao Salazar de la Cruz, Jorge Bedoya Gomez, and Roland Roth. Today, we'll be discussing how this method can enhance language skills and boost students' confidence in English. Let's start with an introduction to the Harkness discussion method. It is also known as the Harkness table or the Harkness method. This style is related to the Socratic method, which consists in which consists in asking questions to get people thinking and help them understand things better. When it comes to learning a second language, this method encourages learners to figure things out by thinking, discussing, and correcting themselves, rather than just being told what to do by a teacher in this case. It is useful because it builds independence, deepens understanding, and helps with memory. Let's talk about its history. This method is a student-centered approach to learning through discussion, which was developed at Phillips Exeter Academy in the 1930s. Phillips Exeter Academy is a boarding school, provides accommodation for students, and it is located in Exeter, New Hampshire. It's one of the most famous secondary schools in the States, and it is known for its commitment to a student-centered approach. This method is named after philanthropist Edward Harkness, who was an oil magnate, okay, and a philanthropist. Now I'm going to tell you what this method is about, okay? The Harkness method places students at the center of the learning process. Unlike traditional classroom setups where the teacher leads the discussion, the Harkness method encourages students to participate actively and work with each other. The teacher's role here is more of a facilitator rather than a lecturer, guiding students as they explore different ideas and perspectives. I would like to make an important remark that should be taken into considerations, especially in our teaching context at Sena. The Harkness method remains impractical for schools with larger class sizes. Now, my colleague Jorge is going to talk about its practical application.
As we can see in the slides, the traditional method has different roles. The teacher's role is to deliver information through lectures, and the student passively listens and takes notes. The setup of the classroom, the layout of the classroom, facilitates this kind of model by facing all of the students, the teacher. The questions are asked closed-ended, seeking specific answers, specifically seeking information from memory. And the focus is on the teacher. But the Harkness discussion changes all of that model, focusing the center in the students. The teacher is a facilitator who guides the discussions, but without dominating. His participation should be minimal according to the participation of the students, who actually participates more, shares insights, and asks more questions. The setup is where the students are sitting as a round table, facing each other, and the questions are open-ended, which encourages critical thinking and analysis. As we can see in the model, on the picture, we see the traditional model. the way they are sitting, and the circular way that is the Harkness model. The next slide, please. Thank you. The practical application of this in the classroom. What can we do? Well, first of all, we have to set up the environment for the participation of the students. We should seat all of the students in a circular table. We have to be very organized with the rules. We have to establish rules for respectful discussions. Okay? Use open-ended questions to spark the discussion. But before that class, we have to ensure that the students are very well prepared for discussing. They have to bring their ideas, their thoughts, their reflections, topics, questions, etc. We have to adapt to the level of the students. According to their proficiency, we have to ask the questions. And we can give them information that is based for them to apply in these discussions. Next, please. Slide. Some examples that we can use as discussion topics for beginners, for example, can be ask them to describe their favorite hobbies and why they enjoy them. For intermediate level learners, discuss the goals, the pros and cons of living in a big city. But we have to be careful not to get confused with debates, because some students, get passionate and they establish positions, and these positions can be opposite between each other. And that's not what we want. What we want is to make them to participate. For advanced learners, debate the impact of social media on modern communication. Okay, now thank you.
Our colleague Joao, okay, will take the lead now.
Okay, as for the impact on language skills, we can tell that one of the key benefits from this method is that it enhances speaking and listening skills. Since students are encouraged to participate actively in discussions, they have many opportunities to practice speaking in English. At the same time, they develop their listening skills by paying close attention to the peers' contributions. This method also promotes critical thinking, as students are required to analyze different viewpoints, and in response to that, they have to share their own ideas. Another significant benefit is vocabulary enhancement or expansion, because they are exposed to different viewpoints and they come across different terms and expressions, and they start using them in their own vocabulary. Also, the variety of topics for discussions means that the students learn to use the language in different contexts. So those are some of the benefits. Next slide, please. Now, apart from language skills, these Harkness methods also plays a vital role in boosting students' confidence in using English. The method creates a supportive environment where students feel safe to express their ideas. They have no fear of being ridiculed because they are working more as a team than like performing for a competition. This is important for language learners who might be hesitant to speak up in more traditional classroom settings, as Jorge was sharing earlier. And this regular participation in discussions also helps the students to become more comfortable with speaking in English, and gradually it will build their fluency. And other thing has to do with the peer learning aspect of this method, because it involves that the students learn from each other's perspectives, and this enhances the understanding and makes them feel more confident in their abilities. Also, since they have to collaborate with one another, this ensures that every student has a voice, and this obviously boosts their confidence over a period of time. Next slide, please. Now, it is true that this method has many benefits, but it seems to also present some challenges that need to be addressed. For instance, you can have, as a teacher in a Harkness discussion session, some shy students that may be reluctant to participate. Or and on another occasions, you can have discussions going off topic without the strong facilitation on the part of the teacher. However, these are challenges that have solutions. As for the first one, the teacher can encourage the shy students to, in future sessions, to make one point as a contribution or to raise one question, then in a later discussion session to increase that to 2 points or 3 questions, and then 3 and then 4, so on and so forth. And as for the second challenge, the teacher can use guiding questions to steer the discussions back on track if the students start to drift. So basically, our point is that these challenges, if you manage them well, they shall not represent any problem, and the Harkness method could be used as a valuable tool for language learning. In fact, I'm going to leave you now with our colleague Liliana. She's going to tell us a little bit about her experience in testing out a Harkness discussion method in a context of SENA.
Well, so what we wanted as a group was to make it real, a real practice. So one of the strategies we read about the Harkness discussion method was the one that we applied with some of my groups, and we wanted to make it as part of our real classes. So in this case, we had this real activity in the Centro de Tecnología Agropecuaria de Mosquera, which belongs to Regional Cundinamarca, with 2 groups. And there you can see the numbers of the groups. And I want to remark that the English level was A1, A2. And the methodology was the following. Students were given a short passage about the hardware history overview. And then in the whole class, we discussed the vocabulary they didn't know. And then, as Roland said, at Sena, we have big groups. I have 30 apprentices, right, in each group. So what I did was to split them in 3 smaller groups. And then the instruction was just to keep the conversation going through during 3 minutes. They were asked to talk about the passage, any opinion they had, any question they wanted to do, everything they wanted to say, they were free to do it. My role as a teacher was just to ask a few questions at the beginning, just to set the environment. And then I started to record, and they were talking completely free. So it was a freely conversation. So I just want you to watch out the small sample of the 5 exercises we did. And that's it. Enjoy it. I don't know if my friend can please play it. And I hope you can make your own conclusions. As a teacher, I was so happy with the activity, but I want you to see it. So let's see it, please. How are you doing? Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Okay, what date is today? What is the date? All great. Guys, what did you study? What is AXO? Well, okay. So, guys, you can talk about the topic. You are free now.
My question it's important, importance for women in history or history of computer.
The woman is important for initial for help the people organization of tables to large history for analytic tables in maps. Yes, uh, people and very romance is simple for use capacity for helps and people. My question is, computer. What is computer important in what? And the first computer is very important for calculation. Okay, this is a creative methodology and 1452. I creative they calculate the operation is subtraction and addition and multiplication. Okay. I have a question. My question is, what is hardware?
This hardware is it can
Components.
components paper but
Components. Margin computer. Components physical.
screen
Table, example, mouse, keyboard, screen, keyboard. I have a question. What is software? Is the part, one part important of two parts is hardware and software.
One part important is software.
Guys,
Is the software is creative level programs.
Liliana?
well, yes, as you could see, well, some of the conclusions I drew, sorry, was as you could see, they had peer collaboration. They felt safe because they didn't feel like afraid of speaking, as I noticed it. Um, they helped each other with vocabulary or ideas. They kept the conversation. I was so happy because of that. And well, in here we have, or we can say that the Harkness method fosters critical thinking because they were talking about important things like the role of the women in the past, and encourage students to take the ownership of their learning leads. They were speaking freely. I didn't ask them to say anything or to prepare any question or anything. Just they asked what they wanted to ask. And what I can say or tell is that consider incorporating this method in our classroom is seen um, very beneficial for our classes. I felt so proud and about the activity, and I felt proud about them because they were speaking. Actually, they were speaking with lots of mistakes, but they weren't afraid of making them. So fluency was one of the things we gained with this activity. Um, Next, please. So here you can see some of the the reference we have, or the sources we took the information from. If you want to search more about it, okay? So thank you so much. Hope you liked our presentation. Hope you have it clear, and I invite you to do it in your classes. It is a good experience. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Liliana. Thank you, Roland.